What is the most interesting statistic you know? Of the 30 fastest 100-meter sprint times, 21 were run by athletes who tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. The other 9 were Usain Bolt. 48% of British people wouldn't go to space even if their safety was guaranteed, with the most popular reason being that they just simply didn't have any interest in going. Hey, with how much stuff I've learned about living in space, it sounds like a nightmare. Eating, drinking, digestion and going to the bathroom are all thrown off by a lack of gravity. Along with brushing your teeth or clipping your nails. Working out is one of the most common activities in space so you don't lose muscle mass from the lack of gravity. Even then it's common to have a lot of aches and pains when returning to Earth because you didn't really use your feet all that much or something. Not to mention space blindness. That one's a bit hyperbolic, but it is sort of a thing. I'll stay home, thanks. Take pictures for me. There's a reason astronauts have to be in perfect health. Going into space ducking wrecks your body. 20% of the mammal species on our planet are different types of bats. There's about 5,000 species of mammals, and about 1,000 of them are varieties of our little winged buddies. I thought there would be more types of mammals. Bigger animals have more trouble creating spaces for themselves, so they don't have as many opportunities to expand the pool of species. Plus, bugs have been around basically since the dawn of time. Mammals are basically babies in comparison. A full 6% of Americans reckon they could beat a grizzly bear in unarmed combat. Edit, and before another bear arm joke, just FYI, bears already don't have arms. So removing bear arms doesn't improve your chances. Technically, all 4 are legs, with the front 2 called forelegs. Used to work as a meteorologist. More people die from flooding each year than from every other natural disaster added together. A good portion, at least, are people who think their cars can make it through the water when they obviously cannot. Dragonflies have a 95% hunt success rate, making them the most effective hunters in the world. It's because the dragonfly optic nerve connects directly to their wings, allowing incredibly fast reaction time since the target finding isn't mediated by the nervous system. Also, their flight vectors indicate they fly to where the target will be instead of where the target is. I didn't realize dragonflies could burn acium. The average age of retirement in the US is 62. 53% of retirements aren't voluntary. Happened to my dad. He is a finance whiz and had a decent chunk wrapped in his and my mom's retirement. One day he was laid off with little warning, and he figured, why the duck would he look for a job when he was pushing 60? In 2020, overdose with a synthetic opioid, primarily fentanyl, became the leading cause of death in all Americans ages 18 to 45. Motor vehicle accidents were the former leading cause for this age group. Motor vehicles are the leading cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds. We need to change that. No, not like that. Edit to add, in the US, because I always have them rattling around in my brain, only 3% of foster kids will ever obtain a college degree at any point in their life after reaching the age of 18. 20% of the children who are in foster care will become instantly homeless. That's roughly 4,000 kids a year. Only 50% of foster youth will have gainful employment by age 23. 7 out of 10 girls who age out of the foster care system will become pregnant before the age of 21. 40% of men in prison were foster kids at some point in their lives. The numbers vary from state to state, but anywhere between 60 to 85% of sex trafficking victims were previously in the child welfare system. Hashtag X200B, edit 2. Adding some links here because people keep asking. https://nfi.org 51 useful aging out of foster care statistics. Social race media #textus %20 the %20 statistics %20 show %2c %20 many care %20 will %20 become %20 instantly %20 homeless. Finally, familyhomes.org https www.childtrends.org content uploads 201709 transition age youth North Carolina.pdf childwelfare.gov. My wife and I are in the final stages of becoming foster parents, hoping to adopt. These statistics are very sobering. They reinforce our decision, though. Former foster parent here. The training and books all talk about living with a traumatized child, but nothing prepares you for it. It's brutal. My husband and I had nightmares the whole first week from the stories he told us. Traumatized children can attempt to sabotage your marriage in a bid to see how stable their new environment is. Stay strong. You and your wife are welcome to DM anytime you need to. In our situation, we fostered a relative whose parents we weren't close to, But the kid went back to his dad after a year and they're doing very, very well. The four of us have become an unconventional family unit. It's worth the occasional agony of our situation. My parents are in the process of becoming foster parents and I still live with them. Do you have any advice? Also, tell them to leave food out, mainly fruit and snacks. A lot of these kids have had food insecurity issues and will steal and hoard food if it is not made readily available. Wayne Gretzky and his brother hold the record for most points by a brother pair in NHL history. His brother has 4 points. Gretzky also holds the record for fastest to 1,000 points. Who's in second? Wayne Gretzky again on his second 1,000 points. So you are saying he was clearly in decline during the second half of his career? Well, without the back issues, he would probably have hit 3,000. Well, who wouldn't have back issues after carrying the entire team on his shoulders? The risk of a heart attack is about 20% greater on Mondays for adult men, and 15% greater for adult women. Realizes they have to go to work again. Dies. Relatable. Sharks have existed for longer than the rings of Saturn, 450 million years versus around 100 million. Sharks also predate trees. That's why they can't climb trees. PFFF. They've had over 300 million years to learn. Sharks are just lazy. 2%, 20%. Motorcycles are 2% of all vehicles USA. Motorcycles account for 20% of all road fatalities. I don't ride anymore. In the same vein, less than 10% of Americans do not wear seatbelts and account for 51% of car-related fatalities. 34% of adults and 75% of children sleep with a stuffed animal or a blanket, or other sentimental object as their comfort object. I don't care if this is false or not. It's not harmful misinformation, it's just plain cute. 1 in every 3rd adult I see, statistically sleeps with a stuffed animal. Awesome. That belly button bacteria study was wild. 60 belly buttons sampled. 2,368 different species of bacteria found. The study indicated that 1,458 of them may be new to science. One had a rare bacteria found in Japanese soil and they had never been to Japan. 2 had rare bacteria that thrived on ice caps and thermal vents. Not a single bacteria was common to all buttons. Wow! My first time past 20 upvotes. Here is a link to the study. You have to go to the Results and Discussion tab. Journals.plos.org plus an article? id 10.1371 journal.pone.00477712. 1 had a rare bacteria found in Japanese soil and they had never been to Japan. If the issue of long-term soil health is solved via some new bacteria we find in a belly button, I'm gonna lose it. The average drunk driver drives under the influence more than 80 times before they get caught. I wonder how they could possibly know this statistic. National Geographic found in 2018 that only 9% of all plastic worldwide gets recycled. A study in the US by the Environmental Protection Agency found only 8.4% of us waste was recycled. Biffa Waste Services Limited was caught sending over 1,000 tons of private home waste to India labeled as paper so you pay less per container, for profit. Basically, recycling is a depressing joke. The human eye blinks about 4.2 million times a year on average. This made me manually blink. I'm currently very consciously not blinking, just to be rebellious. I actually starting blinking extra cause I thought I was falling behind on that number. The birthday paradox, the fact if you have 23 random people there is a 50% chance to have the same birthday. When tested by another agency, TSA failed to detect weapons, bombs, and other destructive materials 95% of the time. That 49.6% of Pakistanis marry a first cousin and 8.3% marry a second cousin. In rural areas of Pakistan up to 80% of people marry a cousin. In Britain Pakistanis make up 2% of the population but account for 30% of children with genetic diseases. That's because on average 55% of them, but up to 70% in some areas, practice first cousin marriage. A wild boar can ejaculate up to half a liter of semen on one go. This was a did you know quote from our school's biology books in the 90s. Boar khaki hit different. The most obese state in the country in 1990, Mississippi, 15%, was still far skinnier than the least obese state in the country in 2020, Colorado, 24%. This still blows my mind and I literally think about it every day. 18% of all boating accidents are caused by people trying to pee over the side. Edit, for those shouting BS, the Canadian Red Cross did a study of all water-related deaths between 1991 and 2008. Table 8 on page 39 states that between 91 to 08, 62 people lost their lives from urinating from their watercraft. That only makes 3% of total deaths due to urination. I couldn't find an online source about how many accidents, not resulting in death, were attributed to urinating over the side of the boat, but my boating instructor gave me the number 18%, and I've always trusted that number. The fact that they keep a record of deaths due to urination, and that yachting insurance companies warn about the dangers of urinating over the side of the boat makes me think that accidents not resulting in death is much higher than 3%. Good one. Peeing over the side probably correlates with drinking while boating.